Alright, muri yeZimbabwe kusangana kwatiri kuita zvakare ipo pano pazimunyuzi update apo patinoda kupa mafirst hand update anonga ari kuitika munyika yedu yeZimbabwe. So kana uri mutsva usabve pano usina kusubscribe, kulike nekushare. So tine mashoko ari kusimudzwa nema-retired generals, sezvo zvetiri kuona kuti ma-retired generals vari go against constitutional amendment bill number 3 vari kuti iri illegal, harina kuitwa zviri pamutemo 2013. So tiri kuona naHenry Muchena vari kutaura kuti hondo inopedzwa nehondo. Muri yeZimbabwe utsinye hunopedzwa neutsinye, because hazvinazvo zvinobetsera zvinotawana na sort of like vanhu havadawo kuzvinzwa, but tongozvitaurawo zvedu panapa ngoti zvinoitwa navanosoninchamisa, because ZANU-PF inoita utsinye, vanosoninchamisa vanonga vachiita sort of like zvinhu zvakanaka zvekwamwari, God is it, zvinhu zvakasiyana siyana, vachingota zvinhu zvakasiyana siyana. So ZANU-PF ife yakabva nemashoko iwawo epatwitter ekuti God is in it. ZANU-PF inotoda hondo to hondo, jebo chairo chairo rakasimba. Ndofuka muri kuona jebo rakarohwa the late President Robert Mugabe. Ihondo Mugabe ida zvehondo, but zvakazongopedzwa futi chi nehondo. ZANU-PF inoda zvehondo, zvinopedzwa futi chi nehondo. Ndozvokutaura nema ex combatants nema war veteran vataura kuti hondo inopedzwa nehondo. So tira kuti tiwerenge tese munyase kuona, because now wakunyasa kuchiona situation kuti haisina kumira zvakanaka, because paungori current generals, especially ana retired lieutenant general Winston Sigauchi, ava vainge vari current generals muna 2008 paipe paitika zvinhu pai, but vanga vasikazvioni. Now waretire manje zvakuitwa nevamwe vanhu vakuchiona sort of like zvinhu sort of like ngezvakaipa muri yeZimbabwe. So tira kuti tiwerenge tese panapa tonyasa kuona kuti zviri kuita sei, then tozoenda kune nhauro iri kutaurwa yevakomana vebato reZANU-PF nevakomana vebato rinopikisa vachiita debate ravo vachitaura kuti no, ZANU-PF yagona papi, vanopikisawo vachitaurawo maonero avo muri yeZimbabwe. So tichakuendesa ikoko tapedza kuwerenga panapa zvanyorwa nema-retired generals. So tikuona panapa kanyorwa kunzi fellow Zimbabwean comrade of liberation struggle and all patriotic citizen who shed blood for this nation's freedom, I stand shoulder to shoulder with retired Air Marshal Henry Muchena. His clarions call last week was not just timely, it was necessary. As a retired lieutenant general who dedicated my entire adult life to defending the sovereignty and the constitution of Zimbabwe, I cannot remain silent where a dangerous assault on our hard-won freedoms unfold. The Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 must be rejected, which every fiber of our being. Let me state it plainly and without fear. Mnangagwa is the chief of architect and driver of Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3. This is not a parliamentary initiative. Tikona pana barukutara kuti this is a parliament, because iwo wakutara muri yeZimbabwe ndofunga makona ku yakarwana pana President Robert Mugabe yakazobuda ichinzi restore legacy ani mazona sort of like this thing. Constitution Amendment Bill number 3 zvinhu zvezviganandana na President Emerson Mnangagwa, but now vakuhwanda vachiti parliament yakaronga izvozvo. Muri yeZimbabwe parliament yakaronga izvozvo, kana nemwe muchizviona muri yeZimbabwe hakuna parliament yaitonyengerwa ichitomanikidzwa nevanhu neivo vavo kutoti munofanira kuti votera tite 2/3 majority, then after ma senators National Assembly chichimwe zvinhu chingoenda zvakadaro. It is not a people-driven reform. It is a calculated project of Mnangagwa and a small cabal of Zigananda and electable individuals around him who seek the mutilate the 2013 constitution for the personal power and perpetual rules. They are attempting what even a Ian Smith regime could not sustain, the arbitrary rewriting of the fundamental law of the land. I fully endorse and reinforce then 10 key points raised by a retired Marshal Air Muchena. The 2013 constitution will not be surrendered to fear. We liberated this country for that future generation would live would live under a supreme law that protect rights, not under the wings of one man. We must now organize, mobilize, resist, and reject Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 peacefully, lawfully, but relentlessly in villages, township, churches, workplace, and the diaspora. We will not flinch. And we will not break the law to save our constitution. True defenders of the nation do not need to descend into illegality. The moral high ground and the peoples will be weapons. Tiri kuona panapa mhuri yezimbabwe regedzei timboone kuti vanhu vane miono ipi. Ndori kuti vane ma-ex combatants vari kuramba zvinhu zvakafanana neizvozvo. Regedzei timboone panapa Erisha ari kutoti bvisai imbwa yamakaisa. When Zimbabwe voted Chamisa in both 2018 and 2023, you supported Imbwa E to take over. With the Zimbabweans knows that Imbwa E is not a presidential material. Visai Imbwa yenyu trikona panapa. Rebecca Rutoti, with all due respect, general calling a lawful amendment a coup is wild. Let not misuse military terms for civil legal processes. Trikona panapa. Action don't know your chef, and the next time you must be quiet for long. You allowed this to happen. Mainyarara vana Zimbabwe opposition to be prepared. Thugs within ZANU-PF were never arrested. Action, chef, as a matter of urgency. Trikona panapa muri Zimbabwe ndo mashoko. We need action, chef, not outrighting without anything. Imim kumberi isu kumashure, not kungowanza zvepa social media. This is the only solution to overthrow the idiot government. He must be arrested and returned to 2013 order. Pamberi tinotenda. Trikona mawo miwono yewanhu iri kutaurwa muri Zimbabwe. You are unconstitutionally stores election or supported Bobo and ED still you shed innocent blood in your long short sleeve blades. Now you are crying about your same leader. Get away, test your Zimbabwe. Mukurita action, less talking. Jimmy had the same people Wairoa Vanu 2008, 2013, 2018, and 2023. You are silent. Chamisa achidzingirirwa vanhu vake. Why today vanhu kujera namo tirikuona panapa ndo zviri kuitika muri yeZimbabwe. Vanhu vari kuti tiri kuda action tiri kuda silva. Kangoti kana engineer Shoni Munangagwa vakangoita zvinhu zvavakanyarara vachiita sei. Takazoona vakangotaura sanhasi kutoti tinoda kuti novheta matapi ani mazvona mangwana marura ndo zvinodiwa izvozvo. Mangwana marura kutouya wanotoasesa chimwe vanhu vakutoita zvinhu zvakasiyana siyana vakutodii basa ratotanga. Ndo zvinhu zvinodiwa izvozvo than zvekungotaura zvaya zvemuromo ungoti ndichazodai hayi izvozvo hazvishandi. Muri yeZimbabwe handipodi kumbokunyeperai zvinhu izvozvo hazvishandi. Hazvitombofe zvakashanda kana ka1. So tiri kuona handi vice president Constantino Chiwenga muzuva ranhasi tichadzokuisira nhauwa dzacho. Waenda kunotambira vice president wekuUganda. Wanga vari kuparliament muzuva ranhasi vachitambira sort of like wekuUganda. So tirakuona kuti zvinhu izvi zvakamira sei muri yeZimbabwe. So tiri kuona panapa maopposition vari kuramba vachijoina bato reZANU-PF. Pava muri this Trikona panapa, more opposition figures continue to join ZANU-PF as Dr. Moses Tofa defected. The growing movement of former opposition members into ZANU-PF continued this week as respected political scholar and analyst comrade Dr. Moses Tofa officially joined the Revolutionary Party, adding to what zvakawandisa muri yeZimbabwe, but ndokamburi kuona muri yeZimbabwe ndo zviri kuitika pana, adding to what men see of widening realignment in Zimbabwe political landscape, Comrade Dr. Tofa was welcomed into ZANU-PF by the party National Political Commissar, Comrade Munyaradzi Machacha, alongside Comrade Blessing Chebundu. He has accompanied by Bishop Kelvin Nyamakanga and a former Triple C diaspora official Wisdom Mangwiro. Yeah, John Mangwiro Buhari, Minister of the both of whom also associated themselves with the association. Organization. Dr. Tofa brings with him extensive academic background, holding a BSc in political science and MSc in international relations from the University of Zimbabwe and MA in international peace and security from King colleagues at London and PhD in peace studies from the University of KwaZulu-Natal and PhD in politics from the University of Johannesburg. He has long been recognized as a political scholar and previously wrote extensive in support of opposition politics. Addressing the gathering, Comrade Dr. Tofa outlined the three keys reason behind his decision to join ZANU-PF. He said the development taking place across Zimbabwe and the Second Republic reflect the spirit on the national matter. Nyika inowakwa nevene wacho stress nesha muri yeZimbabwe funga tiri kuona panapa ndo zvavari kutaura kuti ndo zvandajoinira kutoti madevelopment ari kuitwa munyika ati one day tiri kuona zvinhu zviri kufamba mune zvakanaka. So tira kuti tinzwe makomrade vetinawo pano vakomana veopposition neweruling party vanenge vari kuitisana nharo tiri kuona vanhu vari kurwisana avo muri yeZimbabwe.
No, I will always go there.
No, I
and
said when you go, no, you can go.
No, this is the problem which we are having. There are some people who think as we go there, we are.
Listen to me. I didn't say don't. I
didn't
say don't
trust
go.
me.
I said
yeah,
go.
No, we will go.
I will go, but don't come and tell us to my end.
Ndokumbira kukupewa an actionable thing. Tafarira sitataura akati we want to see rhetoric and action. I want to respond to that. So, on the day number 7, since the constitutional amendment bill number 3 has been signed, we need to understand one thing when we talk about action. It starts with you. The story which was told yesterday by Matirais, I wish you could come up and tell it straight about how a sister went to join the liberation struggle. She mentioned something about them, two sisters, sneaking out at night when their parents told them not to go mapping, but they would sneak out because they understood the environment they stayed in. And they knew that they need to go to that Pungwe and get participate in the consciousness, understanding at hand, understanding what needs to happen. And then they took action, fled their home, and joined the liberation struggle. So it starts in your mind. It doesn't start anywhere else. I think I'm 2.5 minutes into my presentation. If anybody has seen what I've just done, I've ignored everything which was being said by John because I think it's not action, it's rhetoric. And when anyone from ZANU-PF who comes here and says
anything, I think that's not how it works.
I'm giving you practical. Yeah. I'm giving you a practical example of how to act.
This is another problem we have. This is another problem we have.
You are missing the point already. This is
but
why
if someone asks, don't define him. No, engage me.
Giving you the practical example.
Don't try to show as if I'm asking stupid question. It's a very genuine question I was asking.
That's not what I'm doing.
I want to know.
That's not what I'm doing. Listen to what I just did.
I'm not going to listen to you when you behave in that manner. Yeah, that's where the problem is.
When comes here and says what they say, you have every control. I click the leave button, put it there for you, and not listen to the nonsense. If you are part of the speakers, after they speak, you have every right to continue with what you wanted to say and ignore their nonsense. Because whatever they say has no effect in your head. I don't need it to be correct. Personally, I trust the struggle that every Zimbabwean is going through. They know the truth. There is no twisting that can be done that will counter the struggles, the personal experience every Zimbabwean has, whether they are at home or they are abroad. So they can come and say anything they want. The moment you engage them, their goal is achieved, because they are not there to convince you of their truth. They are there so that you don't talk about what you need to talk about. If they throw a lie and you feel the urge to correct them, you have lost the plot. They have taken 5 minutes or 15 minutes of the engagement. Pay attention whenever that happens. The topic of the day is lost. Or because we want to correct a lie, the person knows it's a lie. And everyone who is listening knows it's a lie. I gave a word last time. Someone says something that you don't want. Bite your tongue and just say, as I was saying, and you continue with your submission. That you have every control on. That is something that you can action from today going onwards. The moment they see that whenever they speak, nobody returns any feedback to them, they will realize, no, we are not wanted here. That is withdrawal of consent. Iwe wakada kusvikira musikana every time wakamhoresa oregedza kana kucheuka haakudaire pane pauchaneta orega unongosiyana nazvo kuti si sawa
inenge iripo. And you never know, these people are probably, they are being, supported financially to, to toe the line. Some of us, we don't get support, from anyone. I am, going to be towing, this line because in the back of my mind, no. I'll never do that. I want to create a platform where we can have productive conversations, even in the face of those that you may see as people that you don't agree with. That is how you build strong conversations and create narratives dzinogona kubatsira munhu ari kuteerera. Because kana chinhu chinge chaitika nditi chinhu ichocho chine ma-views for, chine ma-views against. So when we bring that thing here, we would be expecting probably to have a debate, to have a conversation. And a conversation must never be a conversation with the message. Otherwise, there's no point in having that conversation because it will be a waste of time. Kana paine something challenge, kana paine munhu anouya aine in opposite. You see, this is why some people they when they join in Ngia space, they try to first of all do a disclaimer. Could I I'm not a Zanupi person because vari kufear, vari kutya. But we should never create a situation like that. We should never. Even the most independent stables that you can think of, they always bring a balanced conversation. They are never created on echo chambers. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to do which the other side does not do. We are trying to lead, by example here. Already in a Herald will never accept anyone in view in oppose Emerson and Mnangagwa. Never. But what is that creating?
Echo chamber.
Exactly. So if I know good people, you might want to say, we want to create, our own, but we should create our own in a way that bring a healthy conversations that tells them, this is what things are supposed to be, or this is how things are supposed to be. Your eye for an eye, amunoita e. Do zo imimika, you want to create a utopia. You can't.
Uncle, I think you're
No, we
probably
learn
right, and
every day,
I
Uncle
think
Pete.
we would rather
I like
have
it.
people saying kuti
I like it.
there is Zanu PF like openly,
Yes.
rather than munhu wezanu achipretenda kunge hazi. You would rather have a padare, isn't it? Who what their true colors is. But I think on the balance of it, I think there is maybe what they're trying to say is there's propaganda, right? Say someone will come here achinyasotaura, as much as we want to accommodate different people, and like you said, Kuti, there are different topics, and it depends with the topics. Somebody I know any propaganda yake, yekuti, it's so difficult and painful to listen to. You can tell Kuti, Munu right now is doing propaganda, but like you rightly said, come back and challenge him. Just take the mic, grab the mic, and challenge the person with the facts, because there's no point for us to mourn, as opposition around. Yeah, Chichi, like you said, but at the end of the movie, say yes, there are times like that, and depends with the
But there are
topic.
some derailments. What about the derailing? Because it depends on the facts. Panama my contributions are thrown out, they are derailing the space, guys. Let's be honest there. Let's be frank. Me, I feel there is some of the conversation. Now,
Jonah, you're complaining. Have you ever seen Uncle Jade off Panava? When somebody is off, they always put him back in line. That's why myself, I always want to come to this space, because Uncle Jade, they are knowledgeable as the host and co-host. But kunema space when we go there, man, need a party, because the host wacho apana zvaanoziva zvekutaurwa, and then you'll be supporting the same. That's why I have a problem. But I think here we are good. I think we have to move on this issue.
Yeah.
I've never seen any problem here.
no, but don't think it's me only. Yeah,
Do you know what is a
solve
propaganda? Do you know
Yeah.
what is a
It's good.
propaganda? Succeed or to strive in an environment in the side. Do you know a propaganda? Could the propaganda? Do you know the propaganda? It can be it can be a repeat of a lie until it is made believable. But do you know what is it flourish under what under what environment? Propaganda.
Go on when it's not challenged,
In a
or
passive environment.
And vanhu vanenge vari ignorant vasingazive kuti information.
Yes.
Like Zimbabwe,
Yes.
bro.
When in a passive environment, the propaganda strives.
100%.
If propaganda is not challenged, it strives. So let them bring their propaganda, but make sure Gutizo you challenge the propaganda,
With facts.
because it is always going to be existing. Propaganda, ladies and gentlemen, will exist because the only powerful way of countering propaganda is to build a culture of verification.
Yes.
That is all what we want. Saka if something happens and then you want to dismiss it by saying, well, I'm Bisowi, that person has had the last say.
Ndakavaudza.